malfunction. The DGCA is also investigating a case of smoke which was detected in the cabin of an IndiGo aircraft. That smoke was detected only yesterday evening, and this happened on an IndiGo flight that was flying between Raipur and Indore, and this was detected after landing. Meanwhile, we've heard from the management at SpiceJet. The managing director of SpiceJet, Amit Singh, has now come out and he's defending the airline. This is what he said.
15 वर्ष से स्पाइसजेट बिल्कुल एक सेफ एयरलाइन चला रहा है और आगे भी चलाता जाएगा। जिस तरह की हादसों की बात हो रही है वो छोटे छोटे हादसे हैं, वो रोज प्रतिदिन एयरलाइंस में होते हैं। औसतन 30 हादसे रोज प्रत्येक दिन एयरलाइंस के होते हैं। उसमें एक आध हादसा या दो हादसे जो स्पाइसजेट के होते हैं वो मीडिया में आजकल दर्शाए जा रहे हैं। ये कहीं किसी भी रूप में सही नहीं है। आप अगर आज के ही हादसे देख लें, आप अनेकों हादसे देखेंगे बाकी एयरलाइंस के, तो ये हादसे होते हैं। इसका ये मतलब नहीं कि कोई भी एयरलाइन अनसेफ है। ये जब हजारों फ्लाइट होती है तो छोटे छोटे हादसे होते रहेंगे।
A rather defensive stance taken by the management over at SpiceJet. Let's understand the implications of the DGCA show cause notice that has gone from the DGCA to SpiceJet. And for that, Amit Singh is joining us, the founder of Safety Matters Foundation. Great to have you back with us, Amit Singh. We've heard what the management at SpiceJet had to say about these incidents. He says these are common incidents. They happen on a day-to-day basis, and some of them are getting highlighted more than others. And of course, besides SpiceJet, we've seen incidents with Vistara. We've seen an incident with IndiGo as well. But the bigger headline today all across the media is about 8 incidents over 18 days. Certainly, safety concerns have been rising, and they've been rather consistent. They've been flying in thick and fast. How do you think DGCA's show cause notice, because only yesterday when we were talking about this, Amit Singh, you did mention that the buck does stop with the regulator. Now that the show cause notice has gone out, do you see it yielding any results that will address safety concerns of air passengers?
Well, I'm glad that the regulator DGCA has, I think after decades, pulled up the right person, the accountable manager. Earlier, we have seen action being taken against pilots, engineers, cabin crew, etc., or ground staff, but that would not yield any effect until it reaches the desk of the accountable manager who is accountable for safety. And further, the Directorate General Civil Aviation, the organization is the accountable organization in the country, and the buck stops there. So the risk which happens or is encountered in day-to-day operation is of great concern to the Director General, because ultimately they have to be answerable. Why was it allowed or disallowed? So the entire policy of enforcement and public safety comes from something which is called public trust doctrine, which means that whatever regulations are made and the powers which are held by DGCA are in fact the powers of the people. And they have entrusted it to DGCA in good faith for good governance. So DGCA has to use it judiciously to ensure that people who have entrusted these powers, they are given a safe environment to travel. That is the foundation of it. Then if we look at what is happening in aviation now, we have seen spate of incidents in airline sector, in the flight training organizations, in the helicopters. So we have had whole range of incidents, but particularly if I may respond to the CEO of SpiceJet, DGCA has pointed out not to individual incidents. They have clubbed them and they have said this is a systemic failure. So other airlines may be having 1 or 2 incidents or maybe more, but here they have hauled SpiceJet for a systemic failure of safety oversight and engineering functions. So these are 2 important things.
Exactly. So do you think that the DGCA is going to push for airline-specific action, or do you think there will be something that is more encompassing of India's aviation sector and its safety?
Well, the immediate action would be directed towards the airline, because that is of concern, because there is a systemic failure. Now, the show cause notice basically means it is the last step. The first step is if there is an honest mistake or an error, the person doesn't know, or ignorance, out of ignorance something is happening, then DGCA basically does not take a punitive action. Now, if somebody does a mistake, or if there's a mistake in an organization, then there is counseling and kind of warning given. But if something is done deliberately, knowing that there is a systemic problem, or knowing very well that this issue will cause a public safety concern, so if there is a deliberate action on the part of the airline, then DGCA will come in and issue a show cause why action should not be taken. And action can vary from judicial action to fines up to 1 crore. And basically, you can have, if judicial proceedings go through, there could be arrests also. So that is kind of power, DGCA yields. So this is the final step.
Amit Singh, how long do you think this is going to take, this entire process of getting in corrective action, penalizing action? In the meantime, these incidents continue happening. So if you're talking about systemic issues, don't they need to be corrected immediately? And does the center need to come in with more stringent laws when it comes to passenger safety?
Well, it works like this, that DGCA is in charge of safety, but DGCA entrusts certain processes to the airlines. Like the head of safety is approved by DGCA. There's a proper selection and approval process, which means that DGCA is appointing a person or approving a person that this person can manage the system. Right now, there is no head of safety in SpiceJet. The previous head of safety was moved to the CEO's office after the Durgapur accident, wherein there were quite a bit of violations and blunders in terms of how the accident was handled. And after that, post-accident, how the aircraft flew off to Kolkata. So these systems are entrusted. You have a safety management system, which is in the airlines, which is supposed to cater for all these changes and look at threats. So safety works in a proactive manner. Now, if we compare it to everyday life, you could see incidents happening, accidents happening, but what the judicial action is that the judge basically finds a person who can be blamed.
Right.
And this person was responsible.
Right.
What safety in aviation does is safety analyzes a lot of data and they work on a proactive manner.
Correct.
They see trends. The moment they see trends, pick up trends, they should act. But here, there were trends. Every person, every individual, media, everybody's been highlighting the trends.
Exactly.
But no action was taken.
And it's been happening over a period of time, and nothing has happened actually to correct these trends when it comes to compromising safety in the air. And that's something that we seem to have a huge problem with. If the DGCA has enough clout and teeth, then we should see any positive action come out of it sooner rather than later. But Amit Singh, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight with your perspective on this matter.
Thank you.
And let's also track all the other news that have been buzzing and doing the rounds here in India and abroad.